I can remove so that you can see.
The headset or this one? The headset or this one?
That is good. Hare Krishna. If any of you need this below your lotus feet, it's cold. Please do use. There are enough at the back. Yeah, you can. Because the floor is cold, even with socks sometimes it's cold. So please do not hesitate and use these cushions. We are conducting devotee care seminar, so we must be caring each other. We should have a caring environment, caring classroom.
Teachers with fires
I'm trying. चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा ददाति स्वपदार्थं नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशकारिणे वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा. So I would like to welcome you all. We are having this devotee care seminar today 10 to 12:30. We'll have interaction, a short break also, and continue tomorrow. I'm especially very encouraged by everybody from Netherlands. You all have come here. You have kindly agreed to be part of this seminar. And I'm feeling so encouraged to see Kirtida, our youngsters, our next generation, Kirtida and Jayant. So we have Kirtida and Jayanta. They both are right on the floor here in front. Our next generation taking interest in devotee care. I consider this to be the success of our devotee care seminar. Yes, Lord, hand over the baton to the next generation. That has been also the GBC's one of their important areas to focus is to train and empower the next generation of leaders. Okay. Yeah, is fine?
Yeah, just a little a meter to the left. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Hare Krishna. So we will continue from. I will start with one beautiful story from Chaitanya Charitamrita in continuation of the morning class. I was about to speak that story, but I thought it would be more relevant to speak this story in the context of the devotee care seminar. This is in response to Madhan Gopal Prabhu's question. So in continuation, can we sometimes chastise the devotees to care for them? There was a question, what about chastising the devotees? Is it also not love and care? to chastise the devotees? Yes, that was the question. And we discussed briefly that yes, we may have to sometimes correct or chastise the devotee, and parents do that as a gesture of care. Yes, parents do that. But there are certain details to it. Yes, but there are certain important details to it, and I said I'll share that with one story. Lord Chaitanya tells us, he guides us. Who is the yatra manager of Lord Chaitanya? Yatra manager who brings the devotees every year from Bengal to Jagannath Puri? Shivananda Sena. He is the yatra manager for Lord Chaitanya's devotees yatra, annual yatra, from Mayapur to Jagannath Puri. So one particular year it so happened that there was a delay in arranging accommodation and prasadam. You know, when we go out for yatra, there are always some logistical challenges and there would be delays. So he got delayed, and this disturbed Nityananda Prabhu so much that he pronounced a curse that made the three sons of Shivananda Sen die. Can you imagine? There was a delay in prasadam and accommodation arrangement, and Nityananda Prabhu cursed. Now, first of all, this is an example of overreacting. Sometimes what may happen is, a person may make a small mistake and we may overreact and give big punishment out of proportion. This happens sometimes. So we lose our temper. Now Nityananda Prabhu is not an ordinary soul. This happens in day-to-day life. But Nityananda Prabhu had a great purpose. He's not that he just lost his temper and just started blasting him for a small mistake at times. We may do that. But no. When Nityananda Prabhu pronounced a curse, this was very difficult for his nephew, Shivananda's Sen nephew, whose name was Shrikant Sen. But Shivananda Sen is famous, we all have known his name. But he has a nephew whose name is Shrikant Sen. He could not take this. He said, my uncle, he does so much service to Lord, he is associate of Lord, how could Nityananda Prabhu do this boss-giri, we call it, bossing over. How is Nityananda Prabhu bossing over my uncle, who is also a great associate of Lord? This is too much. I will go, and he became very disturbed mentally. I will go and complain to Lord Chaitanya about this Nityananda Prabhu's very aggressive response. The very non-devotee care example. Right? So he left the yatra, in the sense he separated out of the group and walked very fast and reached, in a short time, he reached Jagannath Puri. For what? To complain against Nityananda Prabhu. So when he went in front of Lord Chaitanya, he was wearing a jacket which is supposed to be removed while offering obeisances. So with his jacket on, he offered the obeisances to Lord Chaitanya, and Govinda, servant, said, Shrikanta, have you forgotten the etiquette? You are supposed to remove this for offering obeisances to the Lord. So that was a social custom. You could not be wearing a jacket or something. Remove it and then offer obeisances. So Govinda said, have you forgotten the etiquette? You need to remove this. And Lord Chaitanya spoke. He said, do not say anything to him. Let him do whatever makes him happy. For he is in a disturbed state of mind. This is what Lord Chaitanya said. And hearing these words of Lord Chaitanya, Shrikanta Sen was totally pacified. See, now Govinda, what did Govinda speak? He reminded him of the right etiquette. He gave this feedback, or I say mild chastisement. Have you forgotten the etiquette? You remove this and then offer obeisances. Have you forgotten this? What Govinda was saying is right. And what did Lord Chaitanya say? No, even if he's breaking the etiquette, he's not following the rule, let him do whatever makes him happy. No, Lord Chaitanya was very considerate because he realized that he is not in a normal state of mind, he is in a disturbed state of mind. So here comes a very important principle. When a person is disturbed, affection comes before instruction. So what Govinda did, he gave an instruction. This is not the right etiquette. This is not proper thing. Right? That is always there. Right? We may quote scriptures, we may be right. We may give the instruction from Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, when a person is disturbed. But Lord Chaitanya says, no. Even he is not acting correctly, let him do whatever makes him happy. For he is not in a disturbed state of mind. Hearing this affectionate, caring words of Lord Chaitanya, Shikant Sen was totally pacified. He didn't even complain. He understood that Lord Chaitanya is all-knowing. He is all-knowing, he knows the situation, and he was pacified. Later he could reconcile and understand that that was also the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, of Lord Nityananda, to show the greatness of Shivanand Sen. That was another pastime. It was not like Lord Nityananda who doesn't care for his devotee. It's not that purpose. He purposefully did that to highlight the greatness of Shivanand Sen. So here we see, because of Lord Chaitanya's affection, which should come before instruction. So we are very good at giving instructions, but affection precedes. Before we instruct somebody that we are not doing the right thing, we are doing the wrong thing, have we invested sufficient affection in that person? That is the question. That in the morning we were discussing. Do we have the right to correct anyone or chastise anyone? Do we have that right? We have the right, just like the parents can correct the child and chastise because they have invested so much love in them before. Love and care. But we can't do that unless we have done it. So that is important. And therefore, Shikant Sen could come out of that not by instruction, not by philosophy, but by Lord Chaitanya's kindness. He could come out of that emotional upheaval, the emotional turmoil because of Lord Chaitanya's affection. So therefore, actually in Krishna consciousness, it is care, love and care of the devotees that helps us grow in our bhakti. Devotees out of their kindness, they go out and distribute books, right? And they want to make sure that we take the books, go on Harinam, to distribution. Devotees go out and teach Bhagavad Gita, so on and so forth, to connect as many people as possible. So it is actually devotee care that helps us grow in our spiritual life. So let's see, there is how care helps us grow. Before we go to that section, I would like someone of you to share some personal experience of how care, receiving care, and even giving care, both ways, has helped you to grow in your spiritual life. Someone like to share? Okay, Hare Krishna. Mother Janava Devi, yes.
I just want to share my experience. I met a devotees in New York, and they sent me to Montreal. In New York, I wanted just to keep traveling. I was a traveler at that time, but because they put me on a plane, and someone was waiting for me in Montreal. And I can say the kindness and care, also the affection of the devotees in Montreal, Quebec, they are very famous for this amazing kindness. Mm-hmm. And I did not join for the philosophy, I joined for the kindness.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you. So it was Mother Janava experienced that care in Montreal, the devotees. And Mother Janava said it's not the philosophy, it is the kindness that helped her grow in spiritual life. Lochanan Guru is very kind to me. He has given this nice rug for me to stand on. Hare Krishna. So actually, of the 26 qualities of a pure devotee, what's the first quality?
Humility.
First quality?
Humility.
Sorry?
Humility.
Humility?
Friendly.
It is kindness.
Kindness.
There is a list of 26 qualities in the ashram, and the first is kindness. So remember, Krishna started with K. The first quality of 26 qualities of the pure devotee, the very first is kindness. The very first is kindness. So that kindness helps us grow in spiritual life. Mother Jana shared her own example. Would someone else like to share how the care has helped you grow in spiritual life? Yes, I like to hear from Mother Gorangi also. Come back to you.
Maybe just came in my mind. There is one Mataji present here. This is Vijaya Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
She is my god sister now. I came for the philosophy actually to ISKCON, and then at some point her Prabhuji and she were hosting seminars, programs at her home, so I started to go to her place. And Mataji inspired so many devotees by, she is not like a philosopher or a shastri, but she cooks very nice prasad. And when we were going to her home, every time after the seminar, we had so much prasad. With so much care and love she would make it. And yes, that is how we grew also, because it was so loving her house for us. And that's why I stayed and I continued. So she is a very modern example of that.
Oh, Hare Krishna.
Till now she is like our mother in our Sangha.
Maybe in some lifetime I had a good fortune of ordering prasad cooked by you. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Mother Vijaya? Mother Vijaya. Thank you for your caring heart and love. So actually, as your name, Mother Rasmi said, she came to Krishna consciousness looking for the philosophy, but what attracted her heart was the care. Therefore, philosophy attracts us to bhakti, but it is care that retains us, that keeps us going. So both are important. Both are important, that we are sound in our philosophy, which is attractive and which will attract many other souls, but only the care will actually retain them in the society of devotees. So that's another example. Thank you for sharing the Rasmi Devi about the caring nature of Mother Vijaya Devi. Mother Gorangi.
So it's in Delhi. I was serving in Delhi for some years, but I had to centennial. And one day I was depressed. I was crying and at the side of the Delhi temple. And my Guru Maharaj was taking his walk with his servant, and he saw me. So later he called me to his office, and but he didn't talk any philosophy, nothing. He just so kind. He showed me a box with Prabhupada quota, and that's also I had a Prabhupada quota, but I felt all this kindness, and concern, and just it's not into big words. So that's the thing, sometimes, you get the words, but you don't have the feelings. So anyway, it just pacified me.
Okay, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thank you for sharing. Yes, just that we can experience, when someone gives us the language of love is universal. The actual care is the language of love, and everyone can understand. You don't need to understand. The French do not need to know English. The English don't need to know French. We can understand the language of care. And that is very universal language. Anyone, even animals can understand the language of care, the language of love, which is care. We all can easily relate to that. So thank you for sharing this, your personal realization. We all have that realization that it is the care of the devotees, affection that retains us and also helps us grow in our spiritual life. So, let's see how care helps us grow. Here is when a person sees the devotee for the first time, the first contact with devotees, he sees devotees chanting Hare Krishna. So this person asks the question, what is this Hare Krishna? That's the first level. At least that a person has become inquisitive and has come to this stage. What is Hare Krishna? That is also beginning of spiritual life. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Bhagavatam says, inquisitiveness is the beginning. So what is Hare Krishna? Is the beginning of someone's spiritual life, when one becomes inquisitive. A person grows further and a person may approach a devotee to find out what is this Hare Krishna all about. And after a person receives affection from the devotees, that devotee naturally gives some Mahaprasad, some books, the person says, I like Hare Krishnas. Good people, good music, good song, good prasad, good food. Right? I like Hare Krishnas. So, on receiving love and affection, the person comes to the stage of I like Hare Krishna. Then next, person continues to associate with devotees and says, now I am a Hare Krishna. A person comes to the temple on festival to festival, when someone calls that person and says Hare Krishna, you are also Hare Krishna, right? But this person, although he says I am Hare Krishna, he has his own social life, his own parties, etc., etc. But still, he likes to say I am also Hare Krishna because I go once a month, festival to festival, and so on and so forth. So I am Hare Krishna. Person continues to associate with devotees, receive their love, affection, care in terms of everything basically, in terms of philosophy also, prasadam, direction, guidance, so on and so forth. And the person grows further and says, now my life is Hare Krishna. So that is, now this person is committed. He doesn't have any other life. I remember in a Bhagavatam class, one person questioned one Prabhupada disciple asking how to balance between material life and spiritual life. This question often comes. This Prabhupada disciple said, we have only one life. We have no two lives. You have to come out of that dichotomy. We only have one life. Our life is Hare Krishna. So therefore, what seems to be material is also meant to support our spiritual life. We have to align, adjust everything so that we have only one life. And everything is meant for the pleasure and service of Krishna. Even our occupation and seemingly whatever material we are saying is also spiritualized when the purpose is spiritual. The purpose is spiritual. Therefore, we have only one life as devotees. So that is, my life is Hare Krishna. Now the person is committed. Chanting 60 rounds, taking out the instruction of spiritual master, following the regulatory principles. Okay? His life is Hare Krishna. Guess what's the next tier? What's the next level?
My heart.
My heart is Hare Krishna. Okay. My life, when you say life comes from the heart. So my heart is Hare Krishna has been included here. Something else. What's higher than this? Make a guess.
Sannyas.
Sannyas. Okay, then what will be the phrase? Next phrase. Not everyone can take sannyas.
Love of God.
But every devotee can go to the higher tier.
Love of God.
I live for Krishna, my life is Hare Krishna, that means I live for Krishna. Yes, Mother Gauranga?
I make others into devotees of Krishna.
I make others into devotees of Krishna, that means
You are Hare.
my mission is Hare Krishna. Right, so now I am Hare Krishna fully, but next stage is, now I want to see that the others also take to Krishna consciousness. So in this way, a devotee who is just inquisitive, asking what is Hare Krishna, to becoming like and becoming a favorable person, and then becoming a committed, becoming a sold out servant of Guru and Krishna. So in this way, care helps us grow and we progress through the care of devotees. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya asked Ramanand Rai, what is the most beneficial thing that can happen to any living entity? What is the highest benefit that a living entity can receive in human form of life? And we know the opportunity to be Krishna conscious and so on. But Ramanand Rai says the highest merit, highest benefit that Jiva sees is when Jiva comes in association of devotees. Association of devotees is the highest merit, is the biggest lottery, Say a lottery, a person has got a lottery, jackpot, bumper. So the highest jackpot, the biggest lottery is when a living entity and a spirit soul in one's journey comes to the association of devotees. That is the awakening of all good fortune. Because in that association, we grow in our spiritual life and attain perfection of our Krishna consciousness. So, this is how we grow individually. We as a society of ISKCON devotees also collectively will grow by caring for devotees. So, from Kanishka to Madhyama, Srimad Bhagavatam describes who is the beginner devotee. Kanishka means the beginner devotee. Who is the beginner devotee? One who has faith in the service of Krishna, but doesn't have equal faith in the service of devotees. But, so now, within this has been discussed in we celebrated ISKCON 50th anniversary in 2016. Just after that, every alternate year there is a ISKCON Leadership Sangha. Where all the leaders come and meet in Mayapur. It was discussed there that we have now within ISKCON, we have nice system and structure for deity worship. Nice systems, structures, organized resources for deity worship. In fact, I have one friend who is like Asia head of Citibank. He works in Singapore. He said, now he travels and he has been to many ISKCON temples. He said, I have been to Manor, Radha Gokulananda, Soho Street, I have been to Radha Paris Ishwar, I have been to Tokyo, Radha Govinda, I have been to Auckland, Radha Giridhari. Wherever I go, 4:30 the shank blows. So what a consistency. Citibank is not so well managed as ISKCON. He said Citibank is not so well managed. Citibank doesn't have 4:30 all over the world. The shank blows and the Mangala Aarti starts. Wow! Great achievement. So we have in Didi worship, he said ISKCON is better than Citibank in that consistency, his realization. So, because we put a lot of energy in serving the deities. We have the resources, we have devotees dedicated, we have defined roles and responsibilities, everything. And Bhagavatam says, a person grows in spiritual life when the person has similar faith in serving the devotees. We hardly have even devotee care department in most temples. Anybody is there, it is non-functional, most of the places. Just imagine. So we hardly have, we are just beginning. We are way behind. We have done a great advancements, we have put a lot of effort, and that's required. The Lord is the center of our lives. Vrindavan Das Thakur says, greater than service to Krishna is service to the devotees. Krishna seva hai kayo Vaishnava seva burn. He directly says, there is no ambiguity. Greater than service to Krishna is service to the devotees, he says. Just imagine. And Krishna also says, he quotes Krishna's own words. Krishna says, Yomai Bhakta Janapartha, anyone who says I am a devotee of Krishna, Krishna says, I don't care for that person, I don't accept him. And if someone says, I am a devotee of Krishna, Krishna looks away. And Krishna doesn't pay heed to that. You may consider yourself to be devotee, but I don't accept. It has to be both ways. Like if I say, I am a friend of President, but the President doesn't even know me. Where is the question of friendship? One way. So someone may say, I am a devotee of Krishna, but Krishna doesn't look toward that person. Krishna turns his face away. But if someone says, I am a devotee of Krishna's devotee, I am a servant of Krishna's devotee, Krishna says, come near to me. Krishna immediately becomes attracted. Yume bhakta jana partha, name bhaktasya te jana. Directly, Krishna says, one who says, I am Krishna's devotee, Krishna says, that person is not my devotee, I don't accept. But one who says, I am a servant of my devotee, but bhaktanam chaye bhakta, he is my actual devotee, Lord says. He is an actual devotee. Therefore, Lord himself makes it clear, and Vrindavan Das Thakur says, there is absolutely no doubt that higher than serving Krishna is serving his devotees. And as a society, we have no roles and responsibilities, we hardly have any resources, any departments to begin with, to care for devotees. So we are just starting. So as we put our attention and energy into serving Krishna's devotees, we as ISKCON society will advance from Kanishta to Madhyama. This is the realization of many leaders. So we now in ISKCON we have completed 50 years. In the next 50 years, many leaders they echoed this point. We need to focus on devotee care so that our society can collectively advance to the next stage. Any thoughts, any reflections, any questions on this? Okay, Hare Krishna. Yes. Yeah. Is it working?
Yes. You unmute? Unmuted? Yeah.
Yeah, this is working. So I'll just take this. Difficult, but anyway. That's okay. Yes.
Yeah, my question is, we are, the movement is a young movement, right?
Yeah.
And but for us who arrived 30 years ago, 40 years ago,
yes.
For us, we are not so young in the movement.
Yes.
And some of us arrived in those times there was a lot of abuse and fanaticism, and with that come scars.
Yes.
And some of us have the bad habit to continue hurt of the new ones that's coming. So I know your proposal, the proposal of this new mindset is to protect the next generations of devotees. Means no the kids, but the ones that are arriving here. And so, and my question is, how can we protect those that are arriving from those ones, the old ones, using those scars to how you call it, and end up hurting them and putting them in this path with the old mind fashion, you know, and this is not helping, doesn't helping. And many of us are among those victims from this old mindset of devotees.
Yes.
And that is very hurtful, very difficult, because it's a fight. We have to keep trying to transcend, but to get to the point, you're just like, you know, this is not going to change. And it's still hurting. These people still, this old mindset is still hurting. I'm trying hard to serve here.
Yeah.
But this old mindset of trying to put us in that old path of abusive end up destroying our service, our dedication, and trying to come back to the Krishna conscious. Many of us trying to come back here after 30 years of being outside, because was hurt, and then trying to come back here. But here we are, again, fighting with those mindsets. And it's very hard not to give up sometimes, because we already been hurt in the past.
Yeah.
And this, you have to do extra effort to not take personal, to just, you know, I'm here and with a different mind, and I will transcend, I will not take personal. I'll keep going, I'll keep moving. But at some point, it is difficult, you know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate your question. What you said is so true, that's the reality. We have been hurted by many. We want to protect the new generation. As you yourself said, actually that's the attitude. If someone does good to us, like we have received good things also. We all have received some kindness, some care. We want to pass that on. And we have also received, some heartbreaks, heartburns, difficult times of maybe abuses, being abused emotionally in some way or other. We, as sensitive devotees, we should, if we have been abused, we should know that from there we should take a lesson that this is hurting to me, I should not pass that on, basically. Every sensitive human being should learn from their positive experience and be grateful and share with others. And from the negative experience, whatever we go in life, we should learn a lesson never to do that even to our enemy, not to speak of devotees. So therefore, first of all, we can overcome our heartbreaks by saying, okay, Krishna wanted to teach me lesson. He made me undergo this difficult situation to teach me how it feels, when someone hurts us. Now I won't do that to others. So our devotees should try to overcome one's own internal, heartbreaks, challenges by this way. It's also, Krishna has put me through this to learn an important lesson. It will be helpful in my service. And this is one thing I would say. Personally, this internally, but as leaders, now this devotee care course is also meant for leaders. Leaders have to really think about creating proper systems and structures and policies, whatever needs to be done, to safeguard, to protect the younger generation who is coming. Right? So it's very important, our sacred duty as leaders, to protect the new generation, that they do not undergo what some of us may have to face. They do not undergo. So therefore, that can be done through creating proper systems within the devotee community. So that's like a detailed discussion, the practical implementation. For that, we also need to be skilled to do that. Therefore, within the comprehensive devotee care course, we teach certain skills that are required to be able to deal with different devotees. And actually, since soul is inherently good, even those devotees who, the old timers, the old way of thinking, even if we try to sit with them compassionately sometimes, they have their own struggles and challenges, we even try to compassionately help them also. Because they don't want to do it purposefully. It's not that no one in this world wants to purposefully hurt others, basically. Because inherently the soul is all good. So it takes, we need some training. We need some training to not be judgmental about anyone, but to be able to go a little deeper, to understand. It takes a lot of effort and energy to understand why this person is behaving the way this person is behaving. And if we put that energy and effort, then we can gradually help that person out. So the leaders have to make sure, first of all, to protect the younger ones, and also to compassionately help the other one, because the way they are behaving also has a history. So that way, both way, when we compassionately work, then we'll be moving forward, basically. So this what you said has been realized by the leaders also. For the GBC, now this awareness is spreading. Therefore, this educational course, which is foundational course, the very first purpose of ISKCON is education. See, the 7 purposes is education. And Prabhupada envisioned his temples to be universities, where spiritual education is propagated. Therefore, the beginning of anything is education. ISKCON began with education, Prabhupada began speaking Bhagavad Gita, and education continues. So therefore, just I would say just last 5 or 6 years back only, this devotee care education in a systematic, in a comprehensive way has just started. So now we are embarking on a solution, also going to be a journey. Yes. So therefore, individually and collectively we all try to be part of the solution. And I'm sure that the direction is positive. The solution, we have every hope that we are moving in the right direction. So that should be the solace. We should have that positive outlook that yes, we are actually, there may be difficulties, but now we are working on the solution. And I would like to be part of the solution. That's the most important thing, individually. I would like to be part of the solution. So if all of us have that mood and attitude, that will really help us. Hare Krishna. It's a broad thing. Share some thoughts with me. Yes, Mother Gaurangi Devi. Oh, okay, the microphone. With the cordless microphone.
So wouldn't that help that each community, at least the big one, have some devotees, special leaders skilled in psychology, basic, because it's useful, So, for example, Shopati, do they have?
Okay. Yes, to help the devotees who have the emotional heartbreaks. At times, some devotees can help to give us, psychotherapy, counseling, and they can help them out. Yes. So now we will come to that. There are various areas of devotee care. One of them is, devotees need mental healing. They need healing, emotional healing, mental healing. That's an important area, and therefore, in a community, we can have some devotees who are trained within the devotee community. There are many devotees who are taking interest. We have certain devotee children who are doing psychology, masters in psychology. Many other devotees also, the younger generation is also taking interest. So among the devotees there will be some emotional healers, and they can also help us within the devotee community. That's one important area which has been identified. We'll be talking about that also. Yeah, good point. But yes, we in our community have, and even if we do not have in our community, we can connect with some community where we can find there is a good devotee emotional healer. They can understand and help us to overcome those emotions, which trouble us. So this is a good point. Fine. So where we go ahead from here? Okay, so now I want to discuss the vision of devotee care in terms of defining devotee care. Now we have been talking of devotee care and we understand the importance care helps us grow. But what exactly is devotee care? We need to have common definition for devotee care. Just like I have my engineering background and one Mataji came and she said, "Oh, you are engineer? I heard that you cleared your engineering with distinction. You must be good in mathematics. My child is very poor in mathematics. And you are a devotee care person. Teach mathematics to my child." Devotee care. So, my back is paining. Is there someone who can massage me to relieve the back pain? Is there some devotee care happening in the community? So what is devotee care? What is scope? Or when we talk to some of the temple leaders, we say, do we have some devotee care happening? Oh yes! When someone is sick, we send the prasadam. Someone is sick, we give them prasadam. And when someone is about to leave, we send Mahagarland and Gangajal. Holy water and Mahaprasad we send. So nice devotee care is happening. So is devotee care just about sick person and the person who is about to leave the body? Okay. We have kept a stock of Gangajal with us. Anyone who want to leave the body, Yamuna water, Ganga water from all tirthas, right? We have this huge jar and we'll send to everyone. So this is that all in all? Right? So therefore, what is the scope, what is the definition of devotee care? It's important to understand. So that, we as a society of ISKCON have a common acceptable and matured understanding of devotee care, what devotee care is. Like some people feel, what is this devotee care? Just let everyone chant, go out on Hari Naam Kirtan. That is devotee care. So everyone in this ISKCON have their own definition of devotee care. Everyone has their own understanding of devotee care. Some people told me that he invited somebody that please come and join devotee care seminar. He said, what? Prabhu never used this word devotee care. It's all bogus. So everyone has their own understanding. Prabhu may not have used this word devotee care, but he actually cared so much. There are so many examples. Right? So it's not just a question of words, understanding the spirit of it. So therefore GPC has now defined devotee care. It is very important for us to understand what is the right understanding of devotee care. So let's see the definition of devotee care now. This is GPC mandate and it means applicable all over ISKCON, pan-ISKCON. Vision. Each devotee is spiritually happy, materially well situated, and positively identifying with ISKCON as a caring body. In this, spiritually happy. Okay, so there is happiness for the soul, materially well situated. Here addresses the physical needs are being satisfied, also the needs of the mind, and also identification with ISKCON. Right? So this statement includes care for the soul, the body, the mind, and the intelligence. And there is identification that we are part of ISKCON, which is a caring society. Yes, there are three important things: spiritually happy, materially well situated, and identification with ISKCON as a caring society. There are three important phrases in this vision statement. Okay, yes, Prabhu.
I don't understand the spiritually happy.
What about materially well situated? Yes, that is contentious. Some people say, what? Materially well situated? That goes against spiritual life. Right? That goes against spiritual life. How can be? What is meant by materially well situated? We'll come back to that. Okay, now part of the vision is each devotee responsibly looks after his or her diverse needs, which is self-care. We take care of ourselves. Seek care. That means we should know that where to go when we need something for us. Where to go, that is seek care, and then lastly, extend care to others. So this is the vision statement for the devotee care. Very profound. Spiritually happy, materially well situated, identifying with this corner of the caring society. To be able to do that, take care of your own self, identify your own needs, seek the help, and also extend that help to others. We'll come to materially well situated. The question we are just keeping in car park. Now, there is a mission statement. To achieve that vision, mission means what are we going to do to achieve that vision. So just keep this vision in mind. Each devotee is spiritually happy, materially well situated, identify with this one as a caring society. What are we going to do to achieve that vision? Just like to explain this concept of vision and mission, Lord Chaitanya gave the vision. Can someone recall the vision of Lord Chaitanya? What is the vision Lord Chaitanya gave for the Krishna consciousness? In every town and village, good, Dhananjay Prabhu has said. In every town and village, the holy name will be chanted. Can someone recall the verse? Yes, good. Your name, Prabhu? Nayanabhiram Prabhu has, Dhananjay Prabhu answered the question rightly, and Nayanabhiram Prabhu has also substantiated with the verse. Prithvi Dhyati Nagaradi Gram, Sarvatra Prachar, I will Mora Naam. In every town and village, my holy name will be chanted. That is the vision. Okay, in order to fulfill that, Lord Chaitanya gave instruction to his devotees, which is the mission. How to achieve? Can someone recall? So what are the devotees going to do to help achieve the vision? Great! Mother Krishna Kirtana. Mother Krishna Kirtana. Great! Mother Krishna Kirtana has said our mission that Lord Chaitanya gave, how to achieve the vision is Yare Dekha Tare Kaha Krishna Upadesh. Whomever you meet, talk of Krishna. Whomever you meet, talk of Krishna. And then we are going to achieve that vision. In every town and village, holy name will be chanted. So that's something doable. Vision is something doable to achieve the vision. So, for each devotee to be spiritually happy, materially well situated and identified with ISKCON and the caring society, what is the mission statement? Mission is, we want the virtue of care to pervade all aspects of ISKCON society. Now, yesterday we discussed, care has two parts. We'll do a very quick recap. Care has two parts. One is the quality. Like is very caring, she is a very caring person. There's the quality. Second aspect is, can someone recall who were there yesterday? Action. Action. Not just the person is a caring heart, but also expresses care. Action. Just like Prabhupada translated bhakti not as devotion, but as devotional service. That means there is a sentiment, there is a feeling of the heart, devotion, but it is expressed into practical action. Therefore, care has these two parts. It's the quality of the heart, which also is expressed in practical action. So therefore, mission statement says, we will continue to discuss about importance of care so that everyone becomes a caring person. This virtue should pervade. This virtue should pervade our society. Everyone thinks in terms of being kind and care. Second, so we want this quality to spread, and we want in action, we want to support and provide various caring services to enhance the spiritual, emotional, physical and social well-being of all ISKCON members. Just like we were talking yesterday how Prabhupada preached all over the world, you are not the body. Right? But in every letter he wrote, he said, I hope this meets you in good health. Just contrast it. He is preaching all over the world, you are not the body, but every letter he is saying, I hope this meets you in good health. So I want to be healthy, physically healthy. And himself in letters, this is letters. He would write the home Ayurvedic recipes of some medicines. You can grind this and take it along with some honey and you will be alright. In his letter, he would send the recipes of some homemade medicines. So like that. So Prabhupada expresses care always for the devotees. So we will either support and provide in action. We will talk of this virtue and also provide. In this way, by a conscious effort, the care has two meanings. By practicing that, by putting our effort to keep discussing about devotee care and keep providing caring services, we can achieve our vision. So this is the vision and the mission of devotee care. Any questions about the vision and mission? Before we come to materially well situated, I'll explain that part. Mother Gaurandi?
Can we just feel this thing and take well, so we can keep it, thinking about it. And just,
Okay, you're saying that we should have this in a paper somewhere, printed it, and we can keep thinking about it.
Huh?
We can put it on a paper. Can you speak less fast? Oh,
There's the microphone.
Mother Janava. Somehow I am habituated to speak too fast. I'm sorry. I will now try to consciously speak a little slow. Thank you. I'll keep it here to remind myself. So you all can put the vision and the mission of devotee care and paste it in your room to remember that, and I'll remember this. Yes, Mother Janva.
In regard to the comments,
Microphone, please.
Yes, microphone.
Take your time.
If anyone wants to speak, first ask for the microphone. We have one cordless. Working.
I reflected because there was a comment earlier, and I reflected that in my own experience, that devotee care also starts by yourself. How you keep, I have kept myself, put myself in the same situation maybe 30 years ago. Maybe I had problem with some authorities and now it's happening again. So maybe it's not only the authorities of this temple or ISKCON or this or that. It could be also myself. How I'm not taking care of myself in the sense I'm not working on myself enough also. And I should be introspective and see why this is happening again, and stop blaming the society. Of course, it might be some fault, but it's not only one side usually.
Very good. It's very important to take care of our own self. Because our own decisions, the way we take decisions in life, the way we conduct ourselves, we harm our own selves. Actually, we harm our own self. The devotees may be good, but we may perceive someone to be bad. We become many times victim of our own wrong perceptions. Actually, this happens. We may become victim of our own wrong perception. That person may not be actually a good person. But we sometimes think, oh, that person is very proud, that person wants to hurt me. But that may not be the case. So therefore, we need to take, it's important to take care of our own self. That means have the right understanding, have right perceptions. If there is some wrong perception, we can clarify with somebody. Right? We have to make healthy decisions in our life. That is important. Self-care is very important. Self-care is very important. Otherwise, we will be blaming others. And yes, also the leaders should be thinking that how we can provide through resources, systems, structures, a nice framework for devotee care. Both ways. The devotee should take responsibility, and the leader should also take responsibility of arranging and providing the best environment for the devotees to practice Krishna consciousness and also contribute in the services. Both ways. So it's not one way, it's both ways, as you rightly said. Right? We'll go to materially well situated. There is a debate supposed to be, but not going to debate now. Yes, Prabhu, before we go there.
Thank you.
Okay, just 1 minute since we have opened the slide. We'll read this quote and then take the question. Okay. So, can someone please read? Now this explains what is meant by materially well situated.
I'll read.
Yeah.
Now from this, we may take the lesson that in our fight with Maya, we should not be in a position in which our strength, enthusiasm and senses will be unable to fight vigorously. Our Krishna consciousness movement has actually declared war against illusory energy, in which all the living entities are rotting in a false understanding of civilization. The soldiers in this Krishna consciousness movement must always possess physical strength, enthusiasm and sensual power. To keep themselves fit, they must therefore place themselves in a normal condition of life. What constitutes a normal condition will not be the same for everyone, and therefore there are divisions of our ashram.
With a very profound understanding. You know, again, like sometimes we have been encouraged to just transcend things. We know, Prabhupada said that we should be in a normal position where we are feeling, in which we have strength, enthusiasm and senses and we can fight. This is in relation to Gajendra. Gajendra, being the animal of land, was in a abnormal condition in the water, and therefore Gajendra lost. So Prabhupada says, and the crocodile was in a more natural position, therefore the crocodile is winning. Prabhupada gives a lesson that in a fight with Maya, to practice bhakti means to declare a war against Maya. In that, we have to be in a stronger position. We have to be in a position where we possess physical strength, enthusiasm, sensual power. No, and Prabhupada has not included here spiritual anything. So that's important. It's a physical strength of the body, enthusiasm is mind. So strong body, strong senses, strong mind is needed for us to practice fight with Maya. So that is materially well situated. You have to be in a position. Now materially well situated doesn't mean to have Mercedes and a BMW and at least a luxury villa to live in, a castle and so on and so forth. That's not the definition of materially well situated. Here, because body, senses and the mind are strong to fight, to practice Krishna consciousness, which is not easy in this time and age. It's like going against the current. So that's the meaning of materially well situated. A very profound way to Prabhupada has defined.
Should that not extend also to people, not only devotees, but also outside the devotee?
Yes. Yes, Prabhu.
Not only the devotees, because we are preaching to actually non-devotees, so
Yeah.
caring attitudes should also reflect to others.
Yes, good point. So, now, of course we in the society of devotees want to care for the devotees, but what about others who are non-devotees? What about them? We want to care for them also. But there are a few things over here, few important points. Everyone is potentially a devotee. There is no doubt. But those who have given their life, they have given so much time to Krishna consciousness, what happens in the pursuit of bringing more and more, in the pursuit of caring for the new and new and new devotees, which gives us a lot of encouragement, When we are preaching, new people are coming, it creates a lot of excitement. To take care of old ones, to support them, is a liability. We don't feel, like there is no excitement over there. Therefore, in most communities, that is left out. And we just run behind making new devotees. And we don't put sufficient attention, energy to support those who have come. They need help, they need support. So therefore, these devotees, they just go on the periphery, they leave Krishna consciousness movement. We keep making new devotees, and the old devotees keep leaving. Therefore, Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur, when he came to Chennai to open Gaudiya Math, he found one brahmachari has left. He found the reason because the temple president chastised him. It was a mistake. The temple president chastised him and he left. But Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur said, I am not going to open the new temple. The invites have been distributed. And I am not going to open. You have to bring that person back. One who has come to Krishna's lotus feet should stay there. We have to make sure. For me, the individual spiritual life of that one brahmachari is important. And he put the whole project on hold. So often, the emphasis in ISKCON has been projects and preaching, rather than those who have already come, focusing on them and trying to support them, their needs, so that they can go on practicing Krishna consciousness. There was a person coming to temple and he was not getting committed. He was just like a newcomer and 5 years have passed. And someone asked him that, why don't you commit yourself? He said, I see the newcomers are treated very well. Once you become a devotee, then you don't treat the devotees like you treat the newcomers. I want to be always a newcomer to get that good treatment. So we are, we put a lot of attention to newcomers, preaching, and in project development, not in investing in the people who have actually given their energy in distributing books, in projects. They are left out. This has been the history in many, many places.
Can I reveal my mind here?
Yeah.
If you go back to the first slide.
The vision and the mission?
Yes, the first one with the
Vision?
surrounded by all the devotees.
Hmm.
And I think my wife and other devotees from the Netherlands, they can confirm actually.
Hmm.
You see this Mataji, we see in the right side.
Prabhu, right?
Yes, and then straight forward, this Mataji is from some Nepali background, I think.
Okay.
She looks like a devotee I know.
Hmm.
She is a little bit, not more, she was very active in Krishna consciousness in the Netherlands. She looks like Nita Mata. Everybody confirms? From Netherlands?
Yes.
And then below her, we have another Sandhya, Dasminasi. You can see her face there. And then left, there's an Indian devotee, Jyoti Mata. You can see that? I had this strange, there are 3 Matajis in our Sangha actually, in the Netherlands. Actually, they need care.
They need care.
Yeah.
Yeah, but everyone in UK and the devotees told some Prabhupada disciples, when they became old, and the government took over, there were not many devotees who cared for them, so the government put them in old age homes. They got dementia or something. In old age home, they were being fed non-veg. Some Prabhupada disciples. And the devotees had to intervene and make some arrangements. So then I was in US, and some devotees told, those who served for 15-20 dedicated gave their youth. Later, when the temple president changed, management changed, they didn't prioritize, and number of Prabhupada disciples were driving trucks on their livelihood. Because there were no communities, caring communities of devotees who could extend them support. So this has been, and within ISKCON, the devotee care has not been sufficiently prioritized. All the leaders have accepted. Though we have been prioritizing preaching and projects. So therefore that's the need of the times. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Remind me your name?
Nayana Ginamda.
Nayana Viram Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So we discussed the GBC's vision and the mission for devotee care, and we saw what does it mean to be materially well situated. And at this point of time, we will have a 5 minutes kirtan break. We all need Ranjay Prabhu now, so relaxed. Right? That's important. That we all need the break right now as a caring gesture. So we will have a kirtan going on, but you can just move around, use the washroom, whatever, be comfortable. In around 5 to 7 minutes, we'll resume. Back? Okay. Okay, this is a debate. I can go not into it. This takes time. This is about, again, being materially well situated. There is a group who strongly believes that we should negate all material needs and become spiritually strong. Other group says, no, we have to be properly situated. So this brings out the right understanding of what it means by materially well situated. Great. Like this is a workshop, it's a long workshop, but we are making it short. Who have been traveling for us 6 years across various continents? All will be happy. Especially if you are traveling 10 countries in Europe. Yeah, go to other days, but from other days we have flight to Africa. Yeah, next time, I'll exchange my contact. Maybe next year again, we may come and devotee care training in Leicester, Manchester, Birmingham. Then we can
Ouais, sinon, en fait, moi j'ai cours comme si on est de temps, mais c'est ça que je vais faire. Quand il pleut, c'est bien déjà, et puis aussi, quand je suis dans les arbres,
c'est très dur de raconter.
Tu portes à 5 ans. Tu veux
Attends, c'est parce que je n'ai pas de panneau. Ça ne change pas d'accent.
Parce qu'il a j'ai connu il y a 15 ans. Il y a 15 ans, Marcel Philin, le séminaire. Et ça et là, j'ai 30 personnes.
En fait, oui, oui. De toute façon, il y a le séminaire,
Non, la tête. C'est la communauté.
Yeah.
Pas C'est moi qui c'est toi. C'est tout son nom. Et on se fait parce qu'il est pour les frères,
je comprends pas qui de la
Krishna Krishna
mic.
Thanks here.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Thank you, Mother Lalita Devi, for leading such a sweet melodious kirtan. Hare Krishna, I request the devotees to please come and take your seats. During the COVID just began and everyone was being asked to come to the temple by wearing masks before the lockdown. Please wear your masks when you come to the temple. One devotee came without wearing mask, and then as a part of management we questioned the devotee, why are you not wearing a mask? And this devotee replied, I would like to depend on Krishna. Okay? I would like to depend on Krishna. So, let's see what Prabhu says about that. Can someone please read? Can someone please read? Yes. So what is it?
So long as you are in the material world, you cannot neglect physical laws. Suppose you go to a jungle and there is tiger. It is known that it will attack you. So why should you voluntarily go and be attacked? It is not that a devotee should challenge the physical laws. Now I have become a devotee, I challenge everything. This is foolishness.
So often, dependence on Krishna, we don't have the right understanding what it means to depend on Krishna. We have to do our part, responsibility, our duty, and not just put on Krishna. Even Lord Chaitanya tells Jagannath Pandit is going to Vrindavan. Who is Jagannath Pandit? His eternal associate. Lord Chaitanya tells him, you can go alone up to Varanasi from Jagannath Puri. From there, you must be accompanied by some Kshatriyas, because there are so many dacoits and robbers on the way. It will say that after Varanasi you increase your chanting and then you will be protected. Lord Chaitanya doesn't say. He says after Varanasi, the danger area, you must be accompanied by some Kshatriya. Just see. So many times, we think increasing the chanting, depending on Krishna, that is, or instructing others to do so, that is devotee care. Lord Chaitanya says, Kshatriya has to accompany you, that is devotee care. So we have to do, we can't challenge the physical laws. We know there is a difficulty, there is a problem, we have to address it. We have to do our duty, we have to do our responsibility, our bit. That is important because sometimes, many times in the circle of the devotees, there is a wrong understanding and we give a wrong advice to somebody. But someone is undergoing some challenges, difficulties, we say just depend on Krishna more, chant Hare Krishna more. When Haridas Thakur was old, unable to chant his rounds, he became so old, Lord Chaitanya tells him you can chant less. And we give everyone advice, chant more. Yes, chanting will help, no doubt, help us advance spiritually. But someone who is undergoing some emotional turmoil, some difficulty in the family life, it may have the opposite effect sometimes. A person needs to give some time to the family, needs some psychological healing. It may have opposite effect. Lord Chaitanya tells Haridas Thakur, you can reduce the chanting now. Just imagine. And every problem we make suggest increase the chanting as a solution. Okay? So we have to understand the right philosophy and the right application of it, and not misapply. So now we are talking about devotee care, and when we go to different places, we learn from each other. We learn and we share. So there is a story that one English man went to Middle East and he was so nice, mesdool dates, very soft, very pulpy, very sweet and flavorful dates, mesdool dates, organic ones. And he was taking in the breakfast, in the lunch, in the dinner, and he said, wow. And he said, I want to take this date plant and plant it in Iceland. That would grow. You know that one devotee from Africa came to our Radha Gopinath temple in Chobani, Mumbai, where I was based at earlier. Now I am based at Govardhan Eco Village. And this devotee saw we have a morning attendance register. All the brahmacharis would sign the attendance before Mangala Aarti. They were present. And the record was kept. So it was like inspiration for us. We have to sign when we are present in the Mangala Aarti. Otherwise, it will say absent in red color. It will be like a black dot on our sadhana chart, something like that. So it's inspiration that you would like it, very good. He went back to his country in Africa and put attendance register and announced everyone must sign their attendance. Next day morning, the register was stolen. And that was the end of it. So what do we learn? We can't just pick up some practice, some system working somewhere and plant it somewhere else. Just like the date plant won't grow in the Iceland. And similarly, apple plant won't grow in the desert. It won't happen. We cannot just pick up some practices or system one place and put it in another place. Therefore, what is the principle behind this practice that we are doing sadhana? What is the principle? Principle is to have some sadhana, strong sadhana for the purpose of that. So may not work. How we can encourage the devotees to be more serious? We have to go deep behind. We have to understand the principle and see how do we apply the principle locally. So principles are universal truths and the values are the virtues of the heart to apply it. And that is the topic for our next discussion, which is very important. If we have to, whatever we are learning about devotee care, we have to apply it locally. See, the philosophy is universal, but the application is local. We have to apply the devotee care locally. We need to understand the principle and the values. And now, Madhan Sundar Prabhu is going to take us ahead in this important discussion about the principle and the value underlying devotee care. Hare Krishna. Yes, Madhan Sundar Prabhu, over to you. Yes. Remove this? Okay. Okay, so while Madhan Sundar Prabhu is connecting his laptop, if you have any question at this point of time.
Do you have any additional lights? Does it work? Yeah.
Sorry?
Connected.
Which connected? Here.
Green screen.
Okay. Yeah, you connect your laptop. Yes, someone's, any thoughts, any reflections? Jyoti Prabhu.
It's a practical question.
Yeah.
I just want to know if it is possible to download the books on internet about devotee care.
Oh, you mean the PowerPoint?
Yeah. No, there's no books.
Oh, the books. Oh, yeah. There is a student handbook for devotee care. The standard kind of a manual for devotee care by the GBC. I can share that with Losanand Prabhu.
Is it possible to download?
Oh yes, it's there on devoteecare.org website also. There is a website, Devotee Care. If you just type Devotee Care in Google, that's the first website, devoteecare.org, and there is a Devotee Care manual there. Oh. There is a Devotee Care student handbook.
Thank you.
Yes, that's it. Mike?
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Damodar, for setting the context and speaking on the topic of what is devotee care, and also bringing a little bit introduction to the challenges of applying this universal principle of care to our communities. It's just because you have too much diversity. And he gave an example of nursery dates. I'm not intending to serve it, but he was talking about it. You just can't take it and plant it somewhere else. So when it comes to, there's a caring professionals, the professional services also offered. But we bring the concept of care within our communities, it brings about an interesting challenge, just because we have too much diversity. Let's take a look at it. I hope it works. I want all of you to just quickly take a look at this picture. I'm just going to show you another picture and let's see what differences you can note here. So this is one picture of a devotee community from India. Okay. And this is another picture. That looks like 26 2nd Avenue, New York. Do you see any difference or any similarity? How do you look at these two pictures? If you wish, I'll go back again. You have one picture here of one community. It's all devotees, huh? And we have another picture of another community here. Any quick thoughts? Anyone can just go ahead. Yes, please, Prabhu.
First picture, all the Prabhus were at the front. In this picture, all the Matajis are at the front.
Woman empowerment on the go. Okay, what else? Anything else?
In this picture, the H.
You can't really look.
The H.
The H.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Age.
Oh, the age.
I can see here elderly people.
Oh, okay, the age. Oh, you're saying the most senior, the young devotees here. Okay, what else? Yes, Prabhu.
In this picture, there is mostly white, but there is different color devotees. And the next picture is only Indian devotees.
Okay. And if you yes, let's take 1 minute first.
The other picture, you see most of Matajis, where they are more like happy,
Okay, anyways, I hope you're just getting this point of diversity. Just as you said, you can't pick a system for one place and use it another place within our community, because we come from different cultural backgrounds. We have to always have a consideration for that. Let's take a look at another picture. This is something more of Western outreach, okay? And, we can say this one probably. This is somewhere, do you remember what these two pictures are giving you a difference? So, for the West, Prabhupada said go out on street Sankirtan. For, let's say, if you talk about Bharat, or let's say for that part, do more kirtans inside the temples. I don't remember going out for 8 hours every day for Sankirtan back in India. But generally in the West, devotees would go out. When it comes to outreach, let's take a look at it. How does generally outreach happens in the West? Devotees going out on book distribution. If you can make a comparison with Bharat, then generally this is the focus. A lot of people come to temple and a lot of program happens for them. A lot of people become devotees back in Bharat by temple programs, where elsewhere devotees or people may become devotees through book distribution. So the point is, these are diversities we got to always keep in mind, and when we have these diversities, how do we establish caring communities? To establish caring communities in this broad ISKCON society, we got to have certain principles which are universally accepted. And for those principles, principles is like more of a knowledge which defines what should be the framework, whereas values, they are like the qualities with which the principles need to be followed. So to begin with, let me ask a quick question. Can you think of one principle which defines the life of every Vaishnava in Chaitanya's movement, which is universally applicable? One thing. I'm going to speak about 6 principles, but let's do a little brainstorming. One thing which is universally applicable to all of us, regardless of our diversity. Kindness, that's more value. That's more value. Chanting the holy names of the Lord. Okay. So, principle would be remembering the Lord. And that becomes the details, chanting the holy names of the Lord. What about we can say, the teachings, Srila Prabhupada teachings and lessons, which means whatever has been taught to us by our acharyas and their examples is universally accepted to all of us, for whichever part of the world we are. So when we talk about it as a principle, then what would be an equivalent value for it, by which we can apply this principle? What should be the value? Value refers to quality. I get it, right? Value refers to quality and principle. So there are 6 principles which have been identified and shortlisted by the group of leaders who were working on this course almost 15-20 years ago. And for each principle, they highlighted a particular value. However, each principle can have multiple values, but just to give a clarity on it. So what value would you tie to the principle of, let's say, following Srila Prabhupada teachings and examples? What could be the value? The quality? Yes, Madhan.
No, I'm buried in a piece of grass, not tolerating any tree.
Okay, Tanada peace, Jena, therapy. So humility, which means humility is to accept, follow the orders. Thank you. So humility, precisely. Thank you, Madhan. Yes, please.
Honesty.
Honesty, absolutely. Integrity. Integrity, honesty is just to follow, not to make changes. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Anything else? Yes, Madhan.
Compassion.
Compassion. Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. Yes.
But you said purity is the force.
Purity is the force, okay. Cultivating purity, okay. So like this, the principles and values have been identified. I'll just introduce that over here and then we'll have a short discussion on that. So underlying universal truth that is required for successful application, whereas value refers to the quality or the virtues which could be personal as well as organizational, which is needed to follow the principle. Then we can apply the principle properly. So what are the 6 principles and values? These are the 6 shortlisted principles and values. We'll take a look at each one of them. Thanks. Jai Shri Krishna Balaram ki Jai, Shri Prabhu Madhav ki Jai, Shri Gauratai ki Jai. So we'll be providing this soft copy. You can always have this book. So in that there are some quotations are given. Anyways, to begin with, Srila Prabhupada's teachings and example. The foundation of ISKCON, or in other words, whatever we do has to be based on some shastra, some knowledge. And where do we get it from? Who do we adhere to? The foundation of all that is Srila Prabhupada's teachings. Now, not that only Srila Prabhupada teachings, it is also Acharya's teachings. And teachings are not enough in itself if you don't have example. Just like Srila Prabhupada before going to the West, when he was in Bombay, living in the housing complex of that shipping company, who arranged Prabhupada's ticket to go to the West. So this is a story in Prabhupada Lilamrita. So one man who was in the neighborhood, he came and spoke to Swamiji in those days. Prabhupada was called as Swamiji. He said, Swamiji, you're so old. Why are you going to America? This is not the age to go and see the world. Prabhupada said, well, I'm not going to America to see. I want to carry this Bhagavatams over there. So the man said, well, why do you need to travel? You can ship the books. Then Prabhupada said, well, if I ship the books, yes, books will reach. But how would they understand the book if they don't have a person Bhagavatam to see who is living that book in practice? So Srila Prabhupada's teachings and example is the foremost principle and the foundation of our devotional life. That's about Srila Prabhupada's teachings and example. There's a beautiful quote. Actually, this is an anecdote which His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj quotes of his reflection of Srila Prabhupada. And he says, speaking in Los Angeles about the qualities of a devotee, Srila Prabhupada said, sympathetic, we should be very much sympathetic. If any of our fellow men fall sick, we must take care of them, give them help. Because after all, we have got this material body. Sometimes you may fall sick, so we should be sympathetic. His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, in the diary which he wrote about the final moments of Srila Prabhupada, particularly the last month, he makes a point that how it is hardly a few days before Prabhupada concluded his pastime, somewhere close to midnight, Prabhupada called for the temple manager and the kitchen in charge. And the first question Prabhupada had that was the midnight when everyone was sleeping. Prabhupada wanted to ask, are devotees properly fed? Question to the manager and question to the kitchen in charge, are you cooking nicely? And then His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, we were so shocked. In the middle of the night, Prabhupada haven't eaten himself for the last 3 weeks. Even in such a condition, he is thinking about devotees. So here, a very important point, or maybe before I make a point, because our subject matter is a little bit focused on creating a caring community, so let's keep the focus over there. I just want you to quickly think about any community which you relate to be a caring community. You don't have to name it. Think about a community which, when you think of it, the caring concept is very much visible in that community. That you know of, that that community is known for caring. Do we have some name? How many of you can think of some? Okay, we have one. Any other? That can be anywhere part of the world. Any ISKCON center, temple, any community which you think really highlights for you. It really highlights the concept of care. Who have got some names? You don't have to name, just I want to see how many you can think of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my question to all 5 of you. When you talk about the community, whom would you give the credit for creating the kind of an environment and ethos of caring for each other? Does it go to the devotees or does it go to the leadership? Leadership? That's the point. So leaders create the ethos. Ethos refers to the environment. When we begin to talk about it, why am I making this point? I believe there was a question from the mother with Lieutenant who was sitting, and she was making a point. What do we do? Somebody have done something in the past, and we have those hurt feelings. And the nature of a human being, or the human nature is what we receive, we give. If we have been mistreated, often we pass on that mistreatment to others. Now, even after coming back after all those years, if in case we again get mistreated, those kind of feelings goes around. So, we have had certain history, whatever the case, but leadership and ISKCON have recognized that, and they really want to work on it. Therefore, now they are working on courses like devotee care. There is a leadership development course, leadership and management course, and whatnot. Because I believe I was making a point another forum. Yes, Bhagavatam says, Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarve gunisatra samasate sura harabhuktasya puto mahapruna manorathina siddhavato bhai. Yes, Bhagavatam says, when you render devotional service, when you serve the Lord, you develop all the good qualities. True, but we also need to endeavor to cultivate certain skill set. And therefore, now leadership has been focusing on training over devotees, training over leaders, for cultivating those skill set. And so, this all subject matter begins largely from the leader, whatever he says, yat yat acharti shrishtas, tat tat eva tarojana. If the leadership has a focus, then devotees down the line also have a focus. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada's teaching example is a foremost leader for us. He's an acharya, so whatever Prabhupada does, Prabhupada speaks, is what generally devotee would follow that teaching. So that's the first universal principle here. The corresponding value for it has been identified as wisdom and realization. Of course, for each of this principle, you can have multiple value, but just for the ease of our discussion, oftentimes it is said, Prabhupada said this, Prabhupada said that, Prabhupada said this, many times it is spoken. But to be really able to understand and to apply. As we were talking about diversity, now principle is universal, but details vary according to time, place, circumstances. How to apply that principle in a given situation is a subject matter of the time, place and circumstance. Just like the example of that African devotee, he saw the whole idea of morning program attendance. He took it and he just implemented it, it didn't work out. So that's what calls wisdom and realization, which means a little maturity of how to use the system and apply it. And that's how the value has been mapped to it. So my question over here is, so we got the Srila Prabhupada's teaching example, that's the principle. To be able to really follow this principle, we need wisdom and realization. Can you think of something by which we can cultivate this wisdom and realization? I don't want to offer theory, I want to offer solution also. What one thing in the devotee community we should be doing through which we can cultivate wisdom and realization? Let's give it a Srila Prabhupada. Let's give a system for each of these. Yes, Madhan.
We should hear about the life of Prabhupada and his
Okay, read Prabhupada Lilamrita.
his life.
Like Prabhupada. Thank you. Thank you, Madhan. Anything else? Yes.
Prabhupada's book.
Read Prabhupada's books. Go further. You can
Prabhupada's teaching.
Huh?
Prabhupada's teaching.
Yeah, Prabhupada's books are Prabhupada's teachings. Yes, Madhan.
His disciples' testimonies.
Yeah, I guess we all are focusing on example. So example is God. Prabhupada Lilamrita, Prabhupada memories. Let's come to teachings. Wisdom and realization. What about teaching? What is there that we can do so we can understand teaching so that we cultivate wisdom and realization? So, Srila Prabhupada, yes.
Follow the instruction.
Follow the instructions. Thank you. Prabhupada himself instituted systematic study of his books. It's imperative. It's unavoidable. Therefore Prabhupada said Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta, Bhakti Sarvabhauma. So that we have a systematic study. And there cannot be any better example for me to put in this context than His Holiness Jayapada Goswami Maharaj. And this situation, he has gone through Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta degrees. Why? And he often, lately he has been speaking, everyone should do this training program. Because Shastra is understood not by reading, by hearing. And that's what makes a systematic study. And when we do the systematic study, then we cultivate this value. So Shravanam, Kirtana, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pradasevanam. So first is Shravanam. And when we sign up for this kind of programs, that creates an opportunity for us to understand Srila Prabhupada's teachings. Is that okay? So principle, how to apply. Now this application is also possible for everyone, wherever they are, because we have this kind of Shastra courses. Let's go to the next principle, Vaishnava Seva. So, let me ask a quick question. Why have we joined ISKCON? Of course, the answer is there on the board. So, Seva. Serve whom? No, I know the answer is on the board. Again, you might get it. But serve whom? So, serve Krishna. Now, Mahabharata says, Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam mahajano yena gatha sapanta. Dharmasya tattvam. Tattva means essence of Vedic knowledge. Nihitam guhayam. Guha refers to cave. The essence of scriptural knowledge of all the Shastras is kept as a secret in the core of the heart of a Mahajano Yena Gatha Sapanta. Only a Mahajan can tell us what is the essence of it. Now we have 12 Mahajans, as Yamaraji says, Swambhu, Narada, Shambhu, Kumara, Kapilo, Namu, Eladu, Janaka, Vishnu, Valit, Vayasakir, Vayam. Does anyone know what any of this Mahajan says about whom do we need to serve? Yeah, correct. Devotees, but any quick reference that comes to your mind for that? Lord Shiva, he's speaking to Parvati. Aradhananam sarvesham. Vishnu aradhanam param. In all kind of worship and service, the greatest is of Vishnu. Tasma, however, the greatest is not of Vishnu, is of the devotees. So Mahajana is saying, the greatest is of the devotees. And that pleases the Lord more than service to the Lord himself. Prahlad Maharaj, another Mahajan. Naishamatistāvat urukramadrim spashati anarthapagamo yadarthaha mahiyasami padarajo vishekam niskincanana varnitayavat He's saying, Prahlad Maharaj says, unless you take shelter of the pure devotee of the Lord, Mahiyasam, Yepada Rajobhishekam, unless one covers his body with the dust of the lotus feet of a great devotee who is Niskinchanana, you cannot get purified. And unless you get purified, you cannot have any realization of the Lord. So if you look at the Shastras, if you look at the Mahajanas, they all talk about Vaishnava Seva. This is what we need to, this is universal principle again. So what is the value we need to cultivate for this? Is expertise. I believe yesterday, I see with some new faces here, I was told some devotees from MS Standard is coming. So yesterday we had a first session, we were talking about, what was that? Dadati Pratigranati? What was on that matters of expertise? I just skipped. Anyways, so expertise. Yeah, so NOI, I was making a point. Just skipped. I was speaking of the fifth verse, Krishneti Yasya Kiritam Manasadriyeta. And the point that I was making is, what was the English statement I made? To serve everyone is to serve, how did I start it? I just skipped my head. Anyways, the idea is that verse says, if you really want to serve everyone, if you want to really please everyone, is not to serve equally, but serve differently. As the fifth verse of NOI says. So to do that, we need expertise, one of the qualities. So my question here is, how do we develop expertise when it comes to Vaishnava Seva? Any good thoughts? We got different gradations of devotees. So how do we develop expertise when it comes to Vaishnava Seva? Any system or structure that exists in ISKCON that offers that can help us build this expertise? Yes, Sam?
Visiting the devotee care seminar, for example.
Oh yeah, that's scary. See what's up there. Okay, thank you, Sam. Yes, Prabhu?
Learning from the Shikshas.
Learning?
Learning from other devotees.
Okay, learning from other devotees. Thank you. Good, valid point.
Bhakti Vriksha program.
Bhakti Vriksha. There are 5 Shiksha models, so that cover that. Okay. What else? So this Vaishnava Seva is part of the Shiksha model. And when you talk about Vaishnava Seva, expertise, which means it requires certain skills. Imagine, a guest comes to your community, your home, and he's hungry, and you want to serve. I remember back in those days in Columbus, every Saturday morning I used to cook for Radhan Akbar. His case, Mahatma Prabhu, America. So he was visiting our community. Bad luck for him, he came on Saturday morning. I offered bhoga to the Lord, and then one devotee went to serve him the prasadam. I was in the kitchen, just like many places, very handful of devotees to serve. So after cooking, after offering, I was cleaning the kitchen, and then a devotee came running. Mahatma Prabhu was calling for you. And I go, what happened? Okay, I'll go. I went there. And Mahatma Prabhu said, who has cooked this prasadam? I said, Prabhuji, oh, by tasting this prasadam, I can imagine you must be a very austere brahmachari. I didn't know what he meant by this. I don't know if that a compliment or that was a sarcastic comment. I said, for a second I was happy. I said, okay, good, austere brahmachari. And then he said, why don't you sit and have prasadam with me? I said, okay. I got paid the plate and sat down. And I had my first spoon of prasadam. And lo and behold, there was no salt. I forgot to put the salt on me. And then Prabhu said, so, austere brahmachari, how do you like prasadam? I said, that's really austere. So what I'm trying to make here is, anything that we need to do, even just like offering, cooking, it all requires skill. So, continuous professional development, what we call a CPD. We should also focus on skill development. Somebody has to be a trainer, so he needs to go through, let's say, TTC, Teachers Training Course, whatever. You want to be Kirtaniya, you got to learn how to play Mridanga. You just can't say, the moment I hold Mridanga, Lord within my heart is Paramatma, will inspire me. And my hands will begin to beat and everyone will dance. I remember many times when we have to give a class or something, I remember one day we were in a Bhagavatam class and I was driving him, we were running late to a temple. And he was sitting behind, and this was many years, 15, 20 years ago. And he took out a pen and paper. While sitting on a bike, he began to make notes. I go, what are you doing? These are Indian roads. Either you would fly away or the daddy will fly away. Why don't you sit tight hold? He said, no, I have a Bhagavatam class. I know you have a Bhagavatam class. Why have you taken on the daddy? Well, now I am reading the shloka and preparing for the class. I said, this is not the time to prepare for the class. You should prepare it. So I asked him, why did you do last minute preparation? He said, I have this faith. Krishna will inspire me the moment I sit on the asasana. And then I will automatically begin to speak. So anyways, so Vaishnava Seva, as we discussed philosophically, we are here to...
Oh no, I was just, maybe I don't know I'm right now, but to know what you want to serve Vaishnava, what is his favorite dish, or what he likes, how can you please that Vaishnava?
Ask a Vaishnava.
No, that is what I
She's contributing to.
Yes.
Expertise means to know.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Correct. So that's the part about this Vaishnava Seva. I'll take questions once I finish with this, because considering my time, I'll come back to it. Third is principle, loving relationship. Well, it's about serving Vaishnavas. Loving relationship is important. Again, yesterday we spoke about it. The NOI, the 5 essential verses from the text number 4 to text number 8 are not Rupa Goswami's composition. They were spoken by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, always remember, the essence of all instruction is, always remember Krishna. Stay in Holy Dham and serve under the guidance of senior Vaishnavas. And therefore, before he spoke of the text 7, to chant the holy names of the Lord, 3 verses prior to that were all about building loving relationship with the devotees. So for that, Dadati Pratigranati Guhyamakyati Prachati, we spoke of an acronym, CARE acronym. I don't know if that's possible to recall. Does anyone remember what was that CARE acronym? Charity. In relation to NOI text 4? C. Charity. A. Accepting. C. Charity, giving gifts. A. Accepting, receiving gifts. R. Revealing one's mind. Thank you. So we have some friendships and relationships. In that context, I spoke to you about triangle of life. Self-development, loving relationship, and social contribution. And then what happens? The E, when we have the first 3 things.
Ecstatically.
And then we dance ecstatically. We don't dance, we walk ecstatically. So like that, the loving relationship. So what is the value needed for that? Affection and love. The sense, and this is all subset of care. We generally, so we got philosophical understanding, what we are, we have Prabhupada's examples, we have Prabhupada teachings, we have got philosophical understanding, this is what we are here to do, to serve, serving Vaishnavas, pleases the Lord, and then how to serve them with affection and love. Moving forward to the fourth quality is, principle is attentive listening. I guess I gave the example yesterday. One person just got attracted to ISKCON just because a devotee heard him patiently and quietly. I remember one of our devotees in Pune had gone to a doctor. He's a very famous doctor, Dr. Patankar. Even I have been there. I never went back to him. He's an Ayurvedic doctor. In his clinic, he has an interesting setup. The patient will be sitting on his right hand side, and the other patients who are waiting, they will be sitting right in front of him. There is no privacy. And this guy will get hold of your the head, the wrist, and he'll start speaking everything. What you ate last time and all that. So anyways, so this particular devotee went to him. The doctor did not open his mouth, and he did not allow this guy to speak. What he's doing is holding his hand, and he's speaking to all the new patients who are there. Okay, where are you from? This and that. He's talking to his secretary. And he just kept holding his hand. And afterwards, for a few minutes, once he was done, he took a pen and paper and scribbled something on the paper. This patient was not allowed even to open his mouth. The doctor did not even look at him. He scribbled something on the paper, gave it to the assistant, and he told to the patient, all right, you're done. Now what will you do if you get this kind of a treatment? Now he's a very famous doctor, Dr. Patankar. This devotee came out, he was so angry, so wild. He said, this rascal, he took so much of my time. First we waited for so long. He had time to talk to others. I am the patient who needed attention. He did not even ask me once, what is my problem? Without even asking me, he gave me a prescription. Who's gonna? So attentive listening, attentive listening happens later on. Just to be able to listen. It's a quality which tomorrow Damodar will be speaking about the skill of how to cultivate this habit of listening. Any Shastra example you can think of where this thing has happened? Attentive listening. Our whole Shastra is of that. Parikshita Sukadeva Goswami, isn't it? And Sukadeva Goswami time and again kind of, he would check how attentive Parikshita is. And Parikshita said, hey, wait a second. My dear sir, you did not have the whole story. Why did you skip it? The first canto, you told in the first canto that how Vidurji came back from Yatra. You have spoken about everything, Sutta Goswami, Sukadeva Goswami, but you haven't told me about, about Parikshit, about Vidurja. Like this, those conversations between Sutta and Sonal Adeshi also. This is my favorite thing from Mahabharata. 18th day has ended. Duryodhana, this is the 19th day now. Duryodhana is lying on the ground, beaten down by Bhima, and is about to die. Pandavas and Krishna standing there, and he called for Krishna. And Duryodhana blamed everything that happened in the war to Krishna. He said, Krishna, you are responsible for everything that has happened. He spoke many things. I don't want to go into details of it, considering the time. He said, you are responsible. You are the biggest cheat and the rogue. You destroyed our family. Look what has happened because of your involvement. Do you remember? Duryodhana went to Krishna in Dwarka, and Arjuna also reached. And Krishna said, well, I have two options for you. Take me empty-handed, or you take my army. So Krishna has already said, I'm not going to take part in the war. Yet Duryodhana somehow is able to pin the blame on Krishna. After he was done exhausting whatever he had to say, Krishna said one thing. Duryodhana, there is only one person responsible for this war. And that's you. And then he said, why? And he said, because you never listened to your seniors. You never listened to your seniors. In fact, I also came to Hastinapur, but you never listened. So there's something called as pretending to listen. I always say, I often deal with corporate audience. So I always tell them, you are modern day yogis. I'll tell you one example. I was doing the roaring kirtan after my program, and I saw one manager working in PCS. He was sitting right opposite to me, and he was switched off. There's a loud kirtan going on. Devotees are dancing, there's a vempal, katal, harmonium, madanga, and this fellow was sleeping. I couldn't believe it. My whole attention was on this character. How can you sleep when you have such a roaring kirtan? The program ended. I went straight to him. I said, sir, what happened? He said, sir, your kirtan was so melodious, I fell asleep. How is it possible for you? You did a kirtan. So, if you look at from distance, he was looking like he was so attentively absorbed. That's called pretending to listen. But he was internally switched off. So, attentive. Therefore, attentive word has been mentioned, not listening only. Listening has been categorized along with attentive, which means you're paying attention. Those listening will be discussed tomorrow, so you'll get to know more about it. And, like Krishna heard to Arjuna, the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna just spoke. So there is a quality mention of empathy tied up to this, attentive listening. And all of the scriptures are like that. Sutta Goswami, Shaunaka Rishi, Parishad Maharaj, Sukadeva Goswami, etc. The fifth universal principle is positive sense of belonging. His Holiness Kavichandra Maharaj said, we are making X number of devotees, but we are losing X plus delta X devotees. Why? Because of one thing. Because they don't feel cared or loved. In other words, when individual comes here, according to some of them, they said, this individual does not feel as if this is my family. So people have given up, their families, their cultural background and whatnot. They have come over here. They should feel ideally, this is my community, is my family. My family is my community. It has to be vice versa. So my community is my family is my community. That's what positive sense of belonging needs to be. And that requires a skill or value of gratitude and generosity. Gratitude, grateful for what we have received, and generosity, not shying away from giving. Again, the triangle of life. Self-development, loving relationships, and social contribution. And the sixth principle is spirited leadership. PEP. Protective, encouraging, and another P is protective, empowering, and proactive leadership. Protective, taking care, everyone on me is taking care. Empowering, creating facilities and opportunities for Vaishnavas to grow. And proactive, taking steps so that everyone feels they're cared for. Can you think of any example of either preventive, protective, or proactive leadership? Any example from yes, Bhakti Tirth Maharaj. Perfect example, yeah. He in fact wrote so many books on leadership. Yeah, true, wonderful. Any historical example?
Lord Chaitanya empowering Rupa Goswami, Sanatana.
Yeah, Lord Chaitanya empowering, fantastic, of empowerment. Yes, and Srila Prabhupada, empowering. You're there the 2 months, 2 weeks or 2 months in the movement, go, speak. What should I speak? Whatever you heard. That's empowerment. Okay, anything from the history, from the historical, from the pages of history? Parikshit Maharaj, proactive. He went out to take a tour of the kingdom to see how is my kingdom doing. He took a responsibility upon himself. Let me go and walk around all the towns and villages to see how my people are doing. In fact, you go back to Ramayana, Lord Ram, what would he do? This is post, after the Lanka war has ended, when Lord Ram was ruling. He would send spies around the town just to go and see how people are doing. So this is something where you care for. Are people happy? Because at times people may feel shy or maybe a little afraid to come and open up. Therefore they will create systems where the leader will get to know how the devotees or the people under my rule, or protection are doing and feeling. That's the whole idea of the spiritual leadership. Responsibility, as the leader does, so everyone follows. Yad yad achrati shreshtas, tat tat eva tarojana. Why did Krishna say this to Arjuna? Arjuna said, I want to go to the forest. Krishna said, Arjuna, if you go to the forest, you're the leader. What example would you set? And then Krishna said, Arjuna, although I have no work to do, when I appear, even I follow. Why? If I don't follow, then everyone's life will be destroyed because they'll have a bad example to follow. So leadership is a very dicey situation, not an easy situation to be in. It's a thankless job precisely, but it involves high responsibility, because everything you do, everything you speak, it creates a kind of a benchmark. And everyone will take cue from that and say, well, our leader do like this or did like this, we can also follow. So therefore again there's a lot of emphasis on leadership training for that reason. So these are the 6 principles and 6 values. Let's do a quick exercise. Or maybe should I open for question answer? Maybe 1 or 2 exercises, then I'll open for question answer. Just to give you some perspective to it. I just want all of you to just read out for a few seconds and pick out which one you think is the most important principle and the most important value for you. Is that okay? There are 6. What do you think is the most important principle for you as of now? And the value. Please think about it.
You mean the one which is welcome the one that we feel is the best.
The best, the most important, which ideally probably we would also like to emphasize on, you know. So which principle do you think is the most important? And also the value. One principle and one value. Okay, got it? Okay, let's hear. Prabhu, you want to start? One principle and one value?
Loving relationship.
So Prabhu says loving relationship is the most important principle, and the value, corresponding value? Affection, love. Okay. Anyone else? Yes, Madhan.
Vaishnav Seva.
Vaishnav Seva. And?
Expertise.
Expertise. For Madhu, Vaishnav Seva is the most important principle here. What about others? There's nothing right and wrong, whatever you think which resonates with you at this point in time. We just take quick inputs. Yes, Madhu? Attentive listening and empathy, corresponding value. Should we quickly start from the row? All of you will shy here. Madhu, we'll start with you. Quickly. What's the most important principle? Spiritual leadership and the corresponding value. Yes, Madhu?
I think
Srila Prabhupada teachings, got it. Madhu, for you? Vaishnava Seva. Vaishnava Seva. Srila Prabhupada teachings. Madhu? Spiritual leadership. Madhu's down on the floor. Hare Krishna. Sorry if I'm disturbing the management.
Right now.
Sorry. You could be with you, the management. Who disturb you? No, that's not okay. Continue with your service. Mother over there. You already answered, I believe, right? Yours too? Srila Prabhupada teachings. Mother answered to us and say yes. With that. Prabhupada teachings. Samuel?
Can't decide.
The can't decide. Okay, pass it out. Prabhu for you. Srila Prabhupada teachings. Mother for you. Loving relationships. Mother Yasu. Srila Prabhupada teachings. Loving relationships.
Prabhupada teachings.
Prabhupada teachings.
What's up?
Prabhupada teachings.
Loving relationships.
Loving relationships. Mother the back. Vaishnava Seva. We have 3 devotees here. Vaishnava Seva.
And gratitude et générosité.
And gratitude and generosity.
Attentive listening.
Attentive listening. Okay. So if you see, we have this small group over here, maybe about 25 of us. Even in this group, there is diversity.
That's good.
So that's always going to be the case. You know? So therefore, leadership have to decide. Nonetheless, I still give you some framework how we can all practice. Srila Prabhupada teachings and examples, we have got instituted courses that should be encouraged by leader for their community, that everyone should go through this Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav courses like that. Education is very important, that helps build us Sambandha Gyan. Then everything else happens. Vaishnava Seva, we need skills. So there are skill-based courses. Same for this, same for loving relationship. We'll be speaking about tomorrow about how to practice some of this care. And then attentive listening, this is also part of skill. You know, we can get some training on this, some tools for that. Positive sense of belonging, gratitude and generosity, of course we can have some systems and structure around it. Let's say a system of feedback, a feedback box, with whoever, any member from the community wants to give any feedback, so they have that, forum where they can express themselves. And they are heard and they are responded to, maybe in an anonymous way. And spiritual leadership, ongoing training for the leadership and taking responsibility. So, okay, great. So just to help you memorize the 6 principles, there is what we call as mudra, right, Damodar group? We call some actions. So I'll just do those actions so that we at least remember the 6 principles. So that we have a little bit of remembrance of it. So, I'll do an action. Please repeat after me that action. So that I'll tell you with which it matches to. Or maybe let me do an action. Let's see if you guess it, what it matches to. So that goes to Srila Prabhupada's teachings and example. So everyone, so you memorize those kind of mudra. This is Srila Prabhupada's teaching and Example. Okay. Vaishnava. So please follow that mudra. Get into some physical movement. You've been sitting on for a while. Loving relationship. Oh, sorry, I already give the answer. Sorry. I'll come back to it later. I got distracted. So please do that mudra. So we were practicing last night with Damodar. I said, no. Do it like this. Attentive. It has to be attentive, not like this. I said, okay. I'll make up my own attentive instead. Okay. Yeah, I should randomly do that. It's becoming very easy to guess. I'm going serially. So you're able to figure it out. Yeah, so positive sense of belonging. Alright.
Loving relationship.
Loving relationship. Yes, spiritual leadership. Alright, so why don't we all get up at your place for a second? Let's do this mudra. So during lunch break, you can practice a little bit. So you have some mudras, you got it. So please say loudly. Srila Prabhupada teachings and example. Vaishnava Seva. Some of you are not expanding your hands wide enough. Why be miserly? Grab it as much. Loving relationships. Yeah, tilt. Positive sense of belonging. Now stretch out. Spiritual leadership. Gotta stretch out. So these are the 6 principles like that. And then, alright, take a seat. We thought of having some exercise, but because of hitting 12:30 now, I don't have the exercise for values. Maybe time permits tomorrow, I'll quickly start with that. A quick group work for values, some mimic, some short story. I'll pass it on for tomorrow. Any quick questions and comments on this topic of principles and values? More or less, we kind of gave you some systems and structure also, how we can follow these principles through training, etc. Any comments? Yes, Prabhu.
I have a question. Looking at principle 6, spiritual leadership and responsibility, is there an example? The example for this spiritual leadership and taking the responsibility that Prabhupada make the exception that mushrooms can be eaten in China? Is that an example of this, or is that something else? Yes, he takes care of the devotees which are China, which are...
Well, this what becomes what you're using, what you're referring to is not a detail.
Yeah.
We're talking principles here. Details can always vary according to time, place and circumstances.
Yeah.
There is a statement of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur when the Gaudiyama temple had to be built at one place. He said, these workers will not work if you don't feed them what they want. At one point in time, his disciples were rolling wheels for the workers. Those are details cannot be just taken from one place and applied.
Yeah.
So this is a contextual. What is a spiritual leadership over here? Yes, Prabhupada is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Till the last day, Prabhupada was, giving commentary. That's spiritual leadership. That's responsible conduct. Like that. Okay. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Yes.
Okay, I like the principle of attentive listening, especially because I have some hard time hearing. I got a wonderful hearing aid, but the speaker, they should be more conscious of the audience. Can the audience hear? Can they understand? Is it going too fast? Or do they have a crazy accent? Sometimes it happens. So, it's like the speaker, they have to be concerned, If people speak, they speak too can understand, otherwise it's useless,
Mother, I heard you attentively. I heard you attentively.
Prabhupada's teachings, he includes all these principles because actually Prabhupada who gave us this movement, and that's where we learn all these principles from. So for me, that's why it like really looks like.
Absolutely. But just to have that kind of a burst, I feel it's important to have this kind of 6 categories, so we get the idea of what we should be doing. Other scriptures are too vast, but eventually everything is a subset of Guru Sadhu Shastra. Correct. It's not independent of that. Alright, so I'll pause here and ask Damodar to just give a concluding remark, and then we'll break for a break until tomorrow. And we'll just end with the session.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, thank you for your kind patience. The darshans are just opening. Their Lordships are blessing us for participating in this devotee care seminar. Jai Shri Shri Radha Govind Madhan ki Jai. Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai. We should end on a sweet note. Okay? There is a rule, Madhurya Samapaye, end on a sweet note. So I'll tell you a very sweet pastime of Prabhupada. And I have some sweets from Radha Gokulananda, Bhaktivedanta Menon. So we'll end on a sweet note in 2 ways. Since many of you spoke on Prabhupada's teaching an example, one of the most important principles, which is absolutely right, because Prabhu, your name?
Namacharya Das.
Ram?
Namacharya Das.
Namacharya Prabhu said, actually, Prabhupada exemplified all these principles and values himself, no doubt. So, now, Mother Janki shares her realization. Prabhupada, the one who conducted her marriage, and in the history, no sannyasi had previously conducted any marriage. Sannyasi was not allowed to. But Prabhupada saw that, to help his disciples to have a stable ashram, Prabhupada himself conducted the marriage. Not just that, he wanted Janki, the very first Vaishnavi disciple, to look very beautiful. Prabhupada arranged a nice, brilliant red sari, but she didn't know how to wear it. Prabhupada helped her. Practically, Prabhupada dressed her in the sari. And Prabhupada said, now you look so beautiful. Prabhupada himself put flowers in her hair. Can you imagine? He cooked the wedding feast himself. No other sannyasi had previously done this. How much Prabhupada extended himself to make his disciples feel very special, and also to give them a stable Krishna conscious life, whatever ashram. So Prabhupada, has actually his wisdom and realization, how he extended himself to take care of his devotees. There are so many wonderful examples in one of the sweet pastimes of Prabhupada. And it said that when Prabhupada made the wedding feast, there were many macrobiotic people. But they threw all their macrobiotics out of the window, and they were savoring, what was cooked by Prabhupada, and it was so delicious. They could not resist the aroma of Prabhupada's cooking. So Prabhupada's teaching and his wisdom, his realization stand out for most of us. And tomorrow we'll continue to discuss some important areas where the devotees need care and support, and also some important skills. We'll touch upon that in tomorrow's session from 10 to 12:30. Thank you so much for being here, present, and giving us the opportunity to share. And now I would like to distribute some Gokulanand's Amritsar sweets, which they have said as their first. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai.